Welcome back to Freely Received, Freely Given. Just a disclaimer, I know the quality of this particular video is pretty poor. I was limited in my circumstances. I did the best with what I had. So I apologize. I will do another one mid-year to replace it, but for now, it is what it is. And without further ado, let's get on to it. Welcome back to Freely Received, Freely Given. Today I'd like to talk to you about how you can make your own probiotic lacto-fermented hot sauce. Now there are a lot of really good videos out there about this, and I don't want to reinvent the wheel, and I only make a video like this if I think I can add value to what's out there. And I think there are 2 or 3 things I've learned that I've not seen in any other videos that I'd like to communicate. First of all, what are the ingredients? I like to use garlic, carrot, 6 hot peppers, sweet pepper, and a mango. This is enough to make 2 quarts worth. So I'm going to begin by taking this mango, and if I can do this just right, I'll go down one side of the seed. Carefully. I'll get the other side of the seed in just a moment. And I'll just make a little crosshatch here by cutting lengthwise and then widthwise. And after you do this, it's pretty easy to get the meat out. You just open it up like this and just run your knife along the back of it, and they'll all come out. So I'll do that with both of them, show you where I put it, and then come back. Okay, so I've got the mangoes cut up and put in the bottom of these jars. I used to put the mangoes on the top, but I found that the carbon dioxide bubbles from the fermentation had trouble getting through them, so I put them on the bottom. Now I'm going to take the garlic that I've prepared and put that on top of the mangoes. And you probably know this already, but you know, the cloves come out, and I'll just cut the end of the clove off, just the place where it connects to the bulb, because that's kind of hard. And then, let's see if you can see this. You basically just take the blade and hit it. And that smashes the garlic. Also allows the skin to come off real easily. And so I'll just put these into the jar. Let's see. You won't be able to see it too well here. And then we'll be ready for the next step. The next step is to put in the carrots and the red peppers. You just need to rinse these off, these veggies, because you don't want to wash them with soap. You want there to still be bacteria on them. Whereas the jars, you want those to be very clean. So I cleaned those out with hot water and soap. I just took the skin off the carrot, and so it's ready. So I'm going to tell you what I'll do to get these ready. I'm going to cut this carrot in half, and I've sized it, chosen the size. So once I cut it in half, that will fill up the upper part of this jar, up to about there where my finger is. And you don't want to do it all the way to the top, because you need some space for, I'm going to use a glass plug, or you can also use a plastic bag with some water in it. Just something to make sure the contents stay under the water, under the brine. So I'm going to cut these up, and I'll come back and let you see what they look like. And also, just to let you know, when I cut up the peppers, I'll just take the top off them and then cut them longitudinally in about thirds, and then right across here. I'll keep the seeds, and I'll keep that membrane on the inside in there. Those are where some of the kick will come from on this. If you don't want your hot sauce quite as hot, then just leave the seeds and that membrane out, just use the outer skin. I'm also going to put on some plastic gloves because the caps that come on this, it will get on your fingers, and if you touch your eye or any other part of the body, you'll know it. So highly recommend the plastic gloves. Be right back. All right, I thought I'd show you just quickly how I do it with the red peppers. So I'll cut off the top here. And normally there are about 3 places that the interior connects to the exterior. So I'll just take one of them and try and go right down it all the way down. And then go to the next one, cut along it all the way down. And then do the third one all the way down. And then you can take those 3 apart, take the core out, and I'll set this over the side for now. And then these guys I just cut in half. So just like right there. And then I pack them into the jar, and then the carrots also go in there. The carrots end up looking about like this, or possibly, maybe a little like that. It doesn't matter what shape, but they just need to be cut up a little bit. That way there's more area for exposure to the lactobacilli so they can eat it. And you might even be wondering why you'd want to do this. Why wouldn't you just go ahead and buy your Tabasco sauce and just be happy? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One is this has live probiotics in it, lactobacilli. And so those are really good for your gut health. They allow your immune system to work a lot better. It's also just really tasty. Once you've had this kind of hot sauce, you won't want to go back to Tabasco sauce. You'll become a bit of a hot sauce snob. So I am one. Want to make sure you don't drop the jar. And then once I get all these in, I'm going to cut up a little bit of this sweet pepper, and I'll tell you what, before I do that, I'll take these insides that have the seeds and the membrane and just put them here on the top. And then I'll pack just a little bit of the sweet pepper in there, and then you'll be ready to see the next step. With respect to the flavor on this, I had a friend that I gave some to, and he wrote back and said, it was extraordinary. Sometimes I just like to take it and put it on a spoon and just drink it that way. And I wrote him back and said, I like to do the same thing. Oh, that's good. Well, the next step is we just need to add some salt water to what we put together. And I did go ahead and, as best I could, took those yellow peppers and pushed them down into the carrots and the red peppers. Let's see a little better on this one. And then anything that was left over, I just kind of put on the top and filled it up. Not all the way, but just kind of, there's a gap in there. So you have to put in a 2.5% salt solution. And the reason for that is the bad bacteria, the pathogenic bacteria, can't live in a salt solution environment. It also cannot live in an anaerobic, no oxygen environment. So we're going to make the whole thing like that. Now, one of the things I think I can add value to is on the salt solution. Most of the time, videos will take the entire weight of water in the jar plus the contents of the jar and then calculate how much salt to add to it. I think that's a mistake. I think you should just figure out from the weight of water how much salt to add and then put that in the jar. So that's what I'm going to do. And the way you do that is you have a little scale here, put the jar on, turn it on, and it will say 0. And then you add water to it. Put it back on. See how much it weighs. It weighs 930 grams. So you take that number, whatever it is, for me it's 930, multiply it by 0.025. That'll give you a 25% solution. So that amount, in my case, comes out to 23.25 grams. So I'm going to put 24, let's round it up, 24 grams of salt into this amount of water. Mix it up really good, and that will make a 2.5% salt solution. So let me do that. I'll come right back. All right, so what I've got here is a scale and a little dish on it. I just keep the dish on, turn it on, it's zeroed, and then I can add some salt to it. Now, you want to use something that's only salt. This happens to be pink Himalaya salt. It doesn't have to be sea salt or anything, just as long as the ingredients only say salt. All right, so we'll just pour 24 grams of that in here. There we go. And then I'll just take my water, pour that into the water, put the lid on, tighten it down real good, and shake it up. So what you got now is a 2.5% salt solution, guaranteed to kill pathogenic bacteria that's in these bottles, in the veggies. Now the good thing is God has designed his creation so that lactobacilli, good bacteria, thrive in a 2.5% salt solution. They love it. So we're just going to pour this in each one. Cover up all those veggies. And then I'm going to take one of these glass plugs, and I'm going to go over the sink and put this on there, and then I will just put a cap on it. Pretty simple process. Maybe you can even see it as I'm over here. A little bit of water coming out, and put this glass in. And we just kept it down real tight. And that's all you do. Now, the fermentation process normally takes about a week, depending on the temperature. It's in the 60s here, may get up close to 70. So it could take a little over a week. And I normally kind of burp it every day. I'll just open the top and let any of the carbon dioxide come up, kind of tap it a little bit. I'll show you that, and you can kind of watch the process. I think that's basically it. I mean, there are plenty of other videos out there that go into more of the details about how lactofermentation works. But that's it for now, and I will be back when this process is about over and show you the one thing that I've never seen on any other video that is very important. All right, catch you later. Just one last thing. I wanted to show you, I put the jars in, it's kind of just an aluminum foil pan, and that's because sometimes in the process of this fermentation, you'll get some water coming out. So it's a good idea to have them there. You can see I've also made some sauerkraut. And you'll notice this lid is a little different. It's a self-releasing lid. It allows the carbon dioxide to come out. And there are plenty of those on the market. Those are great too. I'm not recommending you not use them. I actually kind of like it this way because every day I get to come and burp it and you watch the bubbles come out. It's just a great feel. So anyway, do whatever you want, and there's not too much that can go wrong. It's really pretty fail-safe. As long as you get those jars clean with soapy hot water, you should be fine. All right, catch you later. It's day 2, about 20 hours later than last night, and I wanted to show you a couple things. First of all, you'll want to put these jars in some kind of a basin. This aluminum foil one works pretty well. That salty brine is corrosive. You don't want it on your metal or wooden countertop. So I wanted to show you what to do and why to do it if you're not using some kind of self-releasing pressure lid like this one. So usually I'll let my videographer come in a little closer here. I'll just tap this a little bit to try and loosen up the bubbles, and then once you loosen the pressure, you start to get bubbles coming up. And it's always fun to watch them. Helps you see things are really happening, and just amazing to see how God works this out. You may be wondering, where do the lactobacilli come from that are in there? Well, they're all over these veggies when you buy them. They're probably all over your hands too. So you don't have to worry about buying any special probiotic powder. That's everything you need is right there. All right, well, I think that's pretty much it. Just do that once or twice a day, and occasionally you want to taste it, and it'll start to get more and more vinegary as the lactic acid from the fermentation becomes stronger and stronger. If it gets to the point where you really like the taste, then you're done. And so I'll see you in about another 6 days. Well, it's now a week later, and we're ready to finish the job. I've got the 2 jars that we started with. By the time you get done, the carrots lose a lot of their rigidity, and so you have to fish out the weight here. And so what we want to do is get the good stuff out. So I'm going to strain these. And put the good stuff in some of the good stuff in there. And you want to save this brine for a couple of reasons. One is we'll use it in the hot sauce. 2 is you can add it to other things or just drink it. It's full of probiotics. I'm going to put some in some sauerkraut that I'm making over here, because normally that gets pretty dry before it's done, just due to the nature of how that works. And I like to add some to it. When you add this back in, you can always add more, but you can't take it out. So I start out just with a little bit. So I'm going to go over and blend this up. I want to make sure you have the lid on your blender. All right, I blended it for about 1.5 minutes. It needs a little more time. I've checked kind of the consistency of it. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more liquid. Not a lot. And I'll do it just a little bit more and then it'll be done. All right, there it is. It's looking real good, tasting real good. And I wouldn't blame you if at this point you're tempted to just get your bottle and funnel and pour it right in there and distribute it to your friends. But if you do that, you're going to be sorry, and your friends are too. And I'll show you what will happen. If you look at the little picture on this insert, this is what happened to me the first time I put it in a bottle, and several days later opened it up and it blew up in my face. There's quite a bit of probiotic activity still going on in this relatively warm hot sauce. So rather than put it in here, I recommend, and by the way, this is something I've never seen on video. This is my value that I'm adding. But I would put it back into a jar with a little bit of gap in there. And put a lid on that and let it sit in the refrigerator for 2-3 days. And then after that time, the probiotic activity of those bacteria should be pretty minimal. You can put it in your hot sauce bottle and begin to give it away to your friends. So enjoy, and we'll see you next time.